everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today guys I want to talk about something a little bit special, or something a little bit different. Now, from the picture you see here, it says clearly, I'm glad I never went. And you'd be kind of wondering what I'm looking at here, because the picture is the Reform Conference that was held in Perth in November of 2024. And to be honest, at that time I wasn't really keen to go to this event at all, for many reasons. But the views of my opinions from November were very different to the ones now. For God's sake of that party. But whatever. And I thought today, despite what's been going on with the forum and everything else, I wanted to explain to you how my viewing of going to these political events has changed, because the reason I never went to this political event, which is something I explained to one of the candidates for the election last year, that I said I wasn't going to go because I wasn't going with people that I knew or friends that would be there. And some of that person did not understand what the fuck that meant. Well, it means is because I don't like going to these things all the time and just being myself and lonely and not enjoying the atmosphere. So the only time I've ever done these kind of events or go to anything political, they've been with people and people I want to be with. So it's kind of been fun in that kind of way. And it's been good. I've actually enjoyed it. So I want to explain to you all the different times I was at political events last year where I actually came to this conclusion. But I thought it'd be normal just to not explain it, but I was like, well, people have got to know, so might as well. So the first event I actually went to was a Reform campaigning event, where we were giving out leaflets in the middle of Aberdeen's Union Street, and went to Portlethen as well. And that was kind of interesting because I actually met David Bull, and I've actually always liked David Bull. I've never had a problem with him, and it's between him and Richard Tice who kept the forum going with Ben Habib and all them lot, and they've been keeping the forum going. So they were the ones that were with all the polls with the COVID stuff and everything like that. It was really interesting. Met the campaign manager, nice enough guy before I learned about everything else, and yeah, it was actually interesting to see the local candidate, Joe Hart, and Brandon, I forgot your second name, sorry pal. And yeah, it was actually quite interesting, and see David Bull and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know why I wanted to go, but I thought I'm never going to do this again. They did ask me if I wanted to be a candidate for anything like that, and I'm like, no, you're never going to be able to defend what I can say. And I say a lot of rubbish online before I can be responsible enough to behave, basically. But they thought that, I was like, well, it's not going to work because you're just going to kick me out eventually anyway, because the party was never standing for free speech back then, let alone now. And this was in June, July, just before the election, so a few weeks. The second thing I went to was the Unite the Kingdom rally down in London. And although I've not been to a Unite the Kingdom rally before, or you can call them the Tommy rallies, honestly, I actually really enjoyed it. And the only reason I went is because I went with one of my two pals that was there. I'm not going to say who they are. I'm going to keep their names quiet. But I met them both at the Reform conference I was at beforehand, which I should really mention, but whatever. These are all different times, so might as well. But went to the Unite the Kingdom rally, and I have to say, what an amazing kind of event. British solidarity, English flags, British flags, Scottish flags, Welsh flags, and Iranian flags, of all things. Well, the old one anyway. And I think it's the Iranian flag. Maya Tutsi, you know what I'm on about. Yeah, so went to that thing, and I have to say, everyone was so nice. There was no drama, there was no tension. I saw so many faces, everyone was happy. even when I had to go into the toilet in the queue, I just said I need to get in because everyone thought I was going to cut into the bar, which I really wanted to do. But I was like, no, we just want to get to the toilet. And they said, fine, off you go. Would that ever work in Glasgow? No fucking way. Would it work in Edinburgh? No fucking way. But you say it in London, nice enough English, guys. This is why I've never had a problem with the English, because they're such nice people. You are. Because you never gave me any problems at all, except your politicians. They're terrible. But, apart from that, seeing the speakers, all the people I've seen online, seen a face to the screen, the event itself, the flags, everyone was so happy, it was good. And I'll say again, the main reason I went was because my friends were going. And I thought, I will go. But I will never go to London again unless I'm going with my girlfriend or my wife, or someone's paying me to go to London, because that place is a shithole. Anyway, what else was I doing last year? Well, I did try to do a bit of journalism in Glasgow, where I tried to be one of those guys according the pro-UK rally that was there, which wasn't organised by Tony Robertson of all people, but the media had gone out their way to keep pressing as much misinformation as possible to make sure that was happening, and it was evil, and it was all racist, and it was all bigots, and it's all that, and it was like, well, that was fun, because actually watching the event, recording it, and just trying to be that was actually kind of interesting. But I've never liked being on the ground journalism anyway, and I thought this is not the theatre I want to be in. I like making the videos, I like talking, but I'm more of the interview kind of guy, where I actually interviewed two of the speakers of the event, Alistair McConaughey and Niall Fraser. And you should go and watch Here Goes the New World Order podcast to see me talking to these people, because they're interesting characters. Anyway, apart from that, it was good, interesting, but it was quite tensional, with a lot of tension when it came to the protesters that came with mega speakers. They were coming there to be hateful. The police actually did a really good job trying to make sure everyone was behaving. I've made a whole video about that. And that's the one where I got assaulted. Yes, I got assaulted because my phone had the UK flag on it. How fucking pathetic. Moving on. What else was I doing? Well, I was doing the Reform Conference. I went down to Birmingham with my pal, and we went to the conference and see how it was. And I have to say, I was really quite impressed with the thing. It wasn't really a conference. It was more of a rally, to be honest. But to be fair, I'm not really that bothered about it. I liked it. I was there with my friend. We had a good time. Met some new people. Some of them I went to the London with afterwards. And it was really fun. And gave me an excuse to visit Birmingham again. In a good way. And there's always a bad memory with a good memory. So it's good. And I have no issue with that. But the main reason I went was because I was with my friends. I never said the thing about Glasgow. I went myself. And I won't go back doing that kind of thing unless I have a security guard. Now I've cleared that up. Then it comes to the Reform Conference that happened in Perth. I thought at the start it was quite a bad idea to have it in Perth. But to be honest, my money wasn't really the best at the time, and I thought, I think if I'm not going with people I already know, which are from other parties or just don't care, I think it would have been best if I just didn't go. But when I explained this to some people, they were like, oh, that's stupid. I was like, what beneficial, what kind of benefit does it give me going there? There's none. Plus, I don't like being in Perth anyway. What a shithole of a place. For a place that's supposed to be the centre of Scottish culture for hundreds of years, what a shithole it's been turned into. And to be honest, I thought I could do things better with my time, because I've learned I can do things better when I'm not getting involved in these kind of political things. I want to enjoy my life. I want to do things with people I want to be with. I want to go into things and do fun things and do that kind of stuff that it's not politics and that. And I thought, well, Let's make sure that's what's happening, and if these people can't comprehend that, well, they're just like all the other sheep in the world. So I'm going to say thank you guys for watching this video, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.